And God said, let us make man. Wait a minute. Let us make man? Who's the us? To whom is God turning for help in making a human being? It's very interesting if you read the Torah account of creation. In 6 days, God created, the first day created this, second day created this, third day created this. Comes the 6th day after all the animals were created, and God said, let us make man. Wait a minute. Let us make man? Who's the us? To whom is God turning for help in making a human being? He didn't need any help in making elephants or the rivers or the mountains or the moon or the stars. Why suddenly let us make man? And who's the us? And so my illustrious ancestor, the Baal Shem Tov, said something which is so obviously true. God created many creatures. He created angels. He created the entire animal kingdom. But think of it this way. Every living thing is created in a state of completion. A little alligator does not have to change itself. All it has to do is become a big alligator. Right? And little birds become big birds, etc., etc. But they don't have to, by their own efforts, make themselves into something else. They are complete at birth. The only exception is a human being. We come into the world, what the book of Job says, as a wild ass. The baby is born totally emotion, totally desire, right? Totally animal instinct. But we're supposed to be something else. We're supposed to become a being that has a spiritual aspect to one's life, who has a purpose, as you see it on the screen, a meaningfulness to life. Animals don't have a meaningfulness to life. I've been to safari 4 times, and I observed the animals. I don't believe that any one of them thought, what is my purpose in life here? What am I in the jungle for? Animals don't think that way. I don't believe that there's any animal that thinks, what do I have to do to be a better cow than I am? Animals don't have to think about self-improvement. So there's a uniqueness in a human being. And human beings are different than animals, not only because we're more intelligent, but because an animal is totally driven by its bodily drives. An animal cannot refuse something that the body wants. We are in a position to make decisions about what we should do, even if it's something that means defying a bodily drive. And that's part of being a spiritual person. That's where we separate ourselves from animals. Animals have no concept of chesed, of doing something for someone else other than the maternal instinct for their young. But to give of ourselves for a total stranger whom we may never know, animals can't do that. And there are many facets of our lives in which we are uniquely different than animals. Now, God could have created us totally spiritual. But he already had so many angels that if he had created man to be totally spiritual, he would have had another angel. And at this point, apparently God felt, I've got enough angels, I've got enough animals. Now I want to make a new kind of creature. I'm going to create a creature that is born with potential. But that creature has to develop that potential and make himself or herself into the being that I want them to be. I want them to be a human being, not an angel, but not an animal. And therefore, God said, I can't do that myself. Because if I make him fully spiritual, he's not a human being, then he's an angel. So God turned to man and he said, look, let us make man. You and I together will make a human being. I'll give you the potential, I'll give you the ability, and you must develop it to become that spiritual person that I want you to be. That's who God was turning to. Let us means God and us. And the Talmud says it so beautifully that if a person lives the proper life, he becomes a partner to God in creation. That's such a beautiful statement. He becomes a partner to God because he is helping God create man. And because God wanted this creature, God was dependent on us to develop ourselves. But sometimes people fail to do so.